Welcome into another Red Out podcast. My name is Devin. We're going to be talking some Super Bowl talk, some Western sports, and softball just started off, so stick with us.
Hey, how about them tops, son?
All day, SEC boys. SEC, they supposed to be SEC. Crazy all day, baby.
You're listening to the Red Out Podcast.
I am not ashamed to admit in the past, I've needed a therapist. We all need someone, and it's a strong person who can admit it. I talked to my doctor, who referred me to a therapist, and I really didn't have much say as to who the therapist was. But with this episode's sponsor, BetterHelp, you do. You can filter out who you would like to talk to, age, gender, religion, and more to pair you with the person who works best for you. And if the person isn't exactly who you were wanting, you're not stuck. You can switch counselors. BetterHelp strives to offer affordable, professional, and accessible online therapy. So go to betterhelp.com/redout today to save 10%. By doing this, you not only support us, you can work toward a brighter, healthier you. Thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring this episode. Yes, thank you, BetterHelp. We appreciate your support. And if you would like, you can sign up, use our affiliate link, betterhelp.com/redout. And you'll get 10% off your first month. And, it'll not only pair you with a professional that can help you. There's thousands of professionals out there that can help you. But it'll also, help support us. So we appreciate that as well. If you're an Eagles fan and you need to talk to somebody about that horrible call at the end of the game, there's people at BetterHelp that can help you. So we'll go with that. And we'll just go ahead and jump right into it. Yeah, there's a dog and a child outside my room right now.
Nice.
And it really just, you get to that point where you just go, oh my God. So, anyway. So winners and losers, I guess I'll go ahead and, Jesus Christ. We'll just go ahead and jump into our Super Bowl talk tonight. Obviously, the Eagles lost. It was a well-scripted game, right, Jared?
Oh, yeah.
I thought they did a really good job this year, at least making it close. So, as far as Jared, Matt, did you both watch the game?
Of course.
Yep.
Good. Woo! I watched most of it. I had to go into work for a little bit, so I missed the first half of the first quarter. And of course, I've got a 3-year-old, so I didn't get to see hardly any of the rest of it. I got to watch a lot of it, but I didn't get to just sit and take notes. So, but I thought it was a really well played game. I thought Jalen Hurts did an amazing job. I thought the Eagles defense did a pretty good job for most of the game, and Andy Reid and the Chiefs just had a better game plan going into the second half. Jared, what were your thoughts?
I thought it was an incredible game, honestly. I mean, it stayed pretty even most of the game. Of course, Patrick Mahomes, he's still dealing with that ankle injury, especially right before halftime. But still, he was able to play through the pain and come back and give his team the win. Of course, that holding call at the end of the game is going to be magnified just because of when it was and where it was and 3rd and 8 and everything. Which, technically it probably is holding, but you could call holding on any play in the NFL. So I feel like
in his defense, in that player's defense, he had been doing that all game.
Mm-hmm.
Even one of the announcers said early on, he's like, "Man, that's a holding call," but they didn't call it. And then right there at the end of the game, it's like, "Yep." And I honestly, not to take the Eagles side on this, but I completely think Mahomes was flopping on that. Flopping in quotes, because it's like, oh, come on, and then they throw it, and it's like, yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I agree. I thought it was a really well played game. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your thought process, but go ahead.
Yeah, but like I said, it was a pretty good game up until that, and then that just kind of took all the air out of it, I felt like. Philly should have drew up for their last play, the Miami Miracle play. They should have done that. That's their loss. But
Yes.
it was a good one. I mean, it's definitely one of the more memorable Super Bowls the last few seasons. So, I mean, it was a good game to watch.
So, Matt, what were your thoughts?
I think they should have used the Music City Miracle, but anyway. Yeah, I mean, first of all, on the last call, I mean, the guy did come out and admit, like, I held the dude. And honestly, like, that's a lot of leverage to grab the back of somebody's jersey. So I was kind of arguing with, we were at a church party, so I didn't want to
Start cussing.
not too aggressive or anything. But anyway, I was kind of like, he kind of held him, though. Like, he had
He
a
did.
hold of his jersey from the back. That's a lot of extra leverage that you don't really think about. And then he had his hands on his hips. I mean, I could see them calling it. I think maybe they should have swallowed it and just dealt with it. But I mean, especially because it definitely determined the outcome of the game. So that kind of sucked. But you know what? I think it was a legit call.
I think it was a legit call too. But there were other calls that weren't made during the game that you could argue were Andy Reid did a really good job. Patrick Mahomes did a really good job as well of being able to kind of time manage that last drive they had there so that they gave little to no time to the Eagles to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
If the Eagles had another, 5 game minutes, then, that'd have been a different score. But
for sure.
I think it was a really well played game. Super Bowl halftime show. Did you all watch it?
Yeah, I did.
Nope.
Jared, what'd you think?
Didn't want to watch it.
I mean,
too much of a risk there. Too much of a risk.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it wasn't that provocative or ridiculous or anything compared to other ones. I thought Rihanna did a pretty good job. So, I mean, the platforms were interesting, like with all the dancers on it and stuff. I mean, but they were all like pretty well dressed. So, I mean, just not like they were Janet Jackson and doing that. So, I mean, I don't really listen to Rihanna or her style of music much, but I mean, I still thought it was pretty solid performance.
I didn't.
There wasn't that wow factor though. Like I thought it was very modest, honestly, compared to past Super Bowls. Just because I mean, it had the platforms that were going up and down, and then the stage that had the band on it, and that was basically it. There wasn't like a lot of set diversity.
Yeah.
I mean, musically, I mean, it was. I mean, she probably sang to tracks, which I mean, you have to at this level, which is fine. But I mean, it doesn't really matter that much to me.
Well, okay. So I did not watch it. I was putting my 3-year-old to bed at the time, so I missed it. My wife watched it. She said it was pretty good. She doesn't like Rihanna's music. She's not a fan of Rihanna, but she said it was a good show. I told her the other day we were talking about it because there's people complaining about it on Facebook. And my thought process is, and I'll see if y'all agree, with any halftime show in the past, 20 years or so, I don't know of any halftime show that has had 100% of people say, "Oh my God, that was amazing."
I don't know. I feel like Prince is up there.
See, I feel like it's like an 85% of people who are like, I think it could have been better. And 15% were like, oh, that was pretty good. I liked it. Because I've never, like, even with, what was it, J-Lo and Shakira, like, I didn't, I mean, I don't listen to their music, but I mean, it was a decent show. I thought it was pretty good. But everybody else you hear, oh, and it's like, okay. Who was last year? I cannot remember who did the halftime show last year, but it was
like Snoop and like it was a bunch of mixture of people.
Yeah, there was several.
Snoop,
but there was. I mean,
Chris.
and I mean, I'm sure like in Kentucky, locally, there's some that like their music and some that don't. So you've got a percentage of people who are going to be like, oh, I wish they'd just have Hank Jr. on there and Jake Omer, and it'd be great. But
see, that's the thing. When you have like a viewership of like 80 to 100 million people, it's hard to find someone that everyone in that demographic would like.
I thought you were talking about like their age for a second.
No.
And you were 80 to 100, and I was like, good God, Jared, who's this play for? Nursing homes?
Yes, obviously. No, I mean, it's hard to get a good household name. I mean, like if you cater to the younger people, all the boomers would be confused about. I've never heard of this person in my life. And then if you get like freaking AC/DC or some band
Yeah.
from like the 70s, and all the
Pink
Gen
Floyd.
Z kids are gonna be like, "This is lame. Where's Future at?" or something like that.
Yeah, hey, listen to this classic rock, and I'd be like, "Oh my god, shut up, kids." Yeah, I mean, honestly, I just don't think anybody. I don't think there's a happy medium when it comes to the Super Bowl halftime show. I don't
It
think.
should just be Creed until the end of time.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I don't think you're gonna make anybody happy. So for all the boomers, Creed. I used to love Creed back in the day. I don't even know if they're all still alive, as bad as that sounds.
Oh, I mean, yeah, they are. I saw most of the members of the band. They have another band called Alter Bridge. I saw them a few weeks ago.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know you knew who they were. I thought you were too young.
They should do Baby Shark next year.
Pink
Think
Pop!
about
No, they need to have
think
Dora
about-
the Explorer be the freaking
Oh,
halftime
Jesus.
for the Super Bowl.
Think about if they did that.
Or no,
If
Coco
you have
Melon.
if you have a single child in that room, you are not changing that channel.
Oh my God, no!
Because they
you'd be
will freak
forced
out if
one.
you do anything but watch that to the end. And then if somebody dares to not have the guts to change that channel, everybody's gonna be like, "No, let the little baby watch it," and everybody's gonna watch the halftime show.
The
The
greatest
best-
Super Bowl would be in Sydney, Australia, and the halftime is Bluey, like the cat
Yes.
Bluey.
Hey, I'd be fine with that. Honestly, of all the shows my daughter watches 80 million times, Bluey is probably one of the better ones.
Oh, it's great. Yeah.
It's
You
a
like
good
Peppa
show.
Pig?
Oh God, no! Peppa's a little bitch.
If we have the Super Bowl in London, Peppa Pig can do the halftime.
There we go. No,
Honestly,
God, no.
I think Peppa has a good message. I thought.
I still think that they should have done more with SpongeBob for the one Super Bowl halftime with the Sweet Victory song. Like, actually have a full band playing it. It would have been incredible, but yet they didn't. So
Yep, they dropped the frickin' ball. Okay, so I have my one gripe about the Super Bowl. Okay, my one gripe was the post-game interviews. Patrick Mahomes was great, and I loved it. It was completely coach speak.
Mhm.
It was just like, this is like reminiscent of Derek Jeter. This is what I'm thinking when he's talking, and I was like, yeah, it's post game. And then Kels gets on there, and I'm like, dude, just shut up, man.
Tell me he would not be the greatest heel in WWE of all time. He would
He
be
could be.
incredible. If
I
he
would
quit
hate him.
football, if he quit football right now and picked up wrestling and was a heel on like Monday Night Raw or something, he would be incredible.
I would hate him. I would completely hate him.
That's the whole thing.
'Cause he's
Everyone
just-
would hate him.
Oh my God! Like I was okay with everything. I was okay, and then he's like, and all you doubted us, and nobody believed in us, and blah 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 blah. Dude, you just won the Super Bowl. Just shut up and tell him you're going to Disney World, okay? Nobody cares. And I mean, hey, I would be okay if he said it once, but I'm pretty sure he said it like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
Even when they got him up on stage to accept the trophy, he said it again, and I'm like, shut up.
He did it
man.
again at the parade too. I think. Yeah.
Of course he did.
He's
a very
vengeful man.
Just my thing is just be like, hey, in the first interview, be like, there was nobody that believed in us, and we pulled together as a team, and we did, we pulled through, and we did this and that, and I'd be like, okay, that's great. But no, it's like, and then the other thing, which by the way I thought was funny as hell, Terry Bradshaw. Did you see that with him and Andy Reid?
I can't remember.
Terry Bradshaw, after they talked to the owner, they call Andy Reid over. Terry Bradshaw does, and he said, "Waddle over here, big guy."
Did you also see where Terry Bradshaw said he hopes he dies on the air for the ratings?
Terry Bradshaw is our national treasure, and we must protect him. Is all I'm saying.
He is the average person who has ever attended Louisiana Tech University. I would put it that way.
Hey, he is.
He's straight Rustin.
Yeah.
Hey, he completely owes Phil Robertson everything he's ever gotten.
Yeah.
100%. I'm sure you've heard it before, but Phil Robertson started before him, and he stepped out and quit because he wanted to go hunting and fishing. And basically, Terry Bradshaw's life and career was because somebody quit football. I mean, that's all it is to it, really.
See, I feel like Phil Robertson maybe could have been a good quarterback, but I think he was meant for Duck Dynasty.
He really was, and
Bradshaw was
who he
meant
was.
for TV with what he's doing, so it works out.
It did. It really did work out. So I'm completely happy with it. So let's go ahead and let's transition into some Western spring sports. We got some softball to talk about. Looks like the girls went 1-4 over the weekend. Let's see here. They lost to Minnesota. They lost on the 12th. They lost to Michigan on the 11th, and they lost to, I guess they played a doubleheader with Michigan.
Yeah.
I was like, because there's 2 scores that are exactly the same. Western scored 2 runs in both games, and Michigan scored 5 runs. I'm hoping that's that. See, this is why I don't like WKU Sports' page, because it has like nothing. Like, I can't check anything. Pain in the ass. But anyway, you got Minnesota ended up, they played them on the 10th. Western lost to Minnesota 10-2. Then on the 10th as well, Western played Butler, and Western won 10-0. So congratulations, Lady Tops there. As I said, they played Michigan on the 11th. It was a doubleheader. They lost both games 5-2. And then Western played Minnesota on the 12th and lost 7-4. So overall, I would say it's not a bad effort. I mean, especially against these bigger D1 schools like this. Butler maybe not as big as the other names, but
I wish we would play them in basketball, dadgummit. It'd be so good.
Hey,
Butler has it. Well, I mean, they're both evenly horrible, essentially. I feel like Western would probably win as bad as Butler's been, but it's fine.
Hey, it's whatever. I mean, I'm just glad to see that, softball and baseball starting to come around to spring sports. So let's see, who does Western have next? The next basketball, or God, I mean, my head's already going to basketball. The next game we've got is against Delaware. That game starts at 9 a.m. Central Time, and I have
another tournament in
South
Carolina.
Okay, so they're in a tournament. I'm glad you got that because I have no idea. They've got Delaware, then they play East Tennessee next. Then they got George Washington on the 18th, and 19th they play Campbell, and then they'll play South Carolina. So, little gauntlet there of teams to watch for Western softball.
Yeah,
Matt, do you know anything about it?
Well, I was looking at it a little bit. Looks like
Okay.
there was only one game that was like a, kind of a blowout or whatever, and it was the first game against Minnesota. Every other game that they lost was close. They also took Michigan to extra innings.
Awesome.
And actually took them to 9 innings. And they actually scored a run in the 8th inning, and then Michigan matched it, I believe, is how it worked. Anyway, yeah, so they were in a tight game there and just kind of folded at the end, but it was respectable. And, Minnesota, I looked this up a little bit. Minnesota was decent last year. Michigan was pretty good. So, and they're 2 Big Ten teams, so you kind of don't expect to win too many of those. So it's a respectable effort, and hopefully this next tournament, they're a little less big-time names except for South Carolina, so they should have some chances to get a few W's in there. So we'll see.
Hey, I'm honestly like, you've got to go through these, gauntlets, these games like this in order to get to the games, the conference games, and,
I mean, it's at least building up your strength of schedule, and you're getting your chance to play better competition, so get sharp and,
get you some.
Get you some girls.
There you go. Jared, any thoughts on softball?
I hope we win.
Hey, that's all good. That's about what my thoughts are. So has the guys not played yet?
Yeah, baseball starts this weekend against Dayton at home.
Gotcha.
Like I
So
said,
they've got 3 games. They play the 17th, 18th, and 19th against Dayton, like Matt said, and then they'll play the 21st against Belmont and the 24th against Ohio. But go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, I was just going to say, a little fun fact for either hardcore baseball or even somebody that's just kind of interested. There are a lot of games to start the season that are pretty close to Bowling Green. So if you're in Nashville or some of the surrounding areas or in Bowling Green area, there's a ton of games that you can go see. Hopefully we'll be better than we have been. But
Yeah.
tons of games in either Bowling Green or like Nashville. There's some games in Evansville later in the year. Clarksville at Austin P. Murfreesboro. Don't go there. It's a dump. Don't support
Straight
that.
biddies.
Yeah, don't support the backfat of Nashville. But anyway, yeah, it's a good opportunity actually to be a fan and go see some games either home or away and support the Tops.
Yeah, completely agree. I mean, I would be fine supporting, Western chess or debate. I don't even care. One of the major sports, mid, what would you say baseball is? Like kind of like the middle major, because football and basketball is really the bigger sports at Western.
I'd say
But
fourth.
yeah, men's and women's basketball and football.
Okay, volleyball. Okay, so
And volleyball.
Fifth, I guess.
Yeah,
Volleyball would be first, obviously.
yeah, but it's above tennis. It's above tennis and golf and probably cross country and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
but yeah, seriously, like, if you're in the area, like Matt said, you got kids that like baseball or basketball or whatever, bring them out.
Being outside.
Yeah, being outside. Some of the kids will probably
Get
burn
some
the
vitamin
skin.
D.
Yeah. God, dude, you're saying so many like innuendo things today. I'm just saying.
You're
Awesome.
welcome.
All right, so
I'm
Western
standing up
baseball
for you,
plays
bro.
this weekend. Western baseball plays this weekend. Basically, whatever Matt says, just set in a "that's what she said" and you're good. She needs the vitamin D, bro. So let's go Lady Tops. I guess bad news first, right?
Sure.
Well, Western lost to MTSU. I just pulled the Band-Aid off.
Dadgummit.
Yeah, it was really frustrating. Of the two teams I thought would win and one that would lose, I did not see it going this way. I honestly thought men's would lose. I'm sorry, not sorry. I thought men's would lose and I thought women's would win, but it didn't work out that way. So
I tried to tell y'all that I didn't have a feeling that we would win, but I've always felt like this version of middles men is somebody would match up well with. So I was trying to tell you last week that just win a few games and hey, we're right back in it, and shucky darn, we are within.
Shucky darn, we were.
Yeah, we're within 2 games of third. So
Hey, that's amazing.
And 1 game within fifth. Despite all this crap, we're sitting right here, and you've got a soft part of the schedule that you can actually make some hay right now if we can get past some crap. So
That's honestly, it's pretty good news for the men. Lady Tops, we're 2.5 games back. Against Middle, it was 94-81. Western shot 47% from the field. Middle shot 55%.
yeah,
3-pointage, we shot better than they did on the 3-point, 50%. They shot 41. We had more turnovers. We had 1 more turnover than they did. We had 14. They had 13. And they had 36 rebounds where we had 28.
yeah. Middle's women are just better than Western right now. It's frustrating. We actually had another big lead in this one. I think it was 10 or so points in the first quarter. So we actually got out to a good start.
Yeah.
Got out to a good start in the first game against the Middle women. And by halftime, it was basically Middle was in full control. And we hung around and fought, but we just didn't. Middle was better. But what's weird is Western usually cannot hit the broadside of a barn. And against Middle, they've basically shot 50% or so in both games, but they can't stop Middle at all. Middle just has their way. And so it's been kind of a weird dynamic, but I think we have a chance against Middle. if we face them again in the conference championship.
Okay.
Hopefully it'll be the conference championship. If not, it means we had a meltdown
Yeah.
to end the year to finish in 4th or 5th. But anyway, I feel good about where they are. Middle's just better. I mean, they're a really good team. They had a crappy week right before we played them, but basically, if we can win these two, I think we're in these next two against Charlotte and Rice. We'll be in really good shape. Rice and Charlotte are both kind of in contention if Western loses a couple here to kind of catch us or pass us. So let's just win these two this week and take care of business. We already beat Rice once. We played like garbage against Charlotte. Couldn't hit anything. And Charlotte hit everything. And we still almost won the game. So I think we should be in control of it and be able to beat both of them. Rice women are playing really well. But so we'll see how that goes. But I feel good about the women, and I feel like it's going to take a lot of work to not finish in 2nd or 3rd in the conference.
Okay, so next week we will talk about La Tech, UAB, and then we'll talk UTEP, North Texas the week after that. Jared, did you watch the women play?
I didn't get to, but I mean, I feel like it's so hard for both of our teams to win at the exact same time. Like either the women will be good and the guys will be horrible, or the girls will be bad and the guys will be good. And I wish they could both be good at the same time.
I wish we all could win, right?
Yeah.
Just all of us.
Everything until the end of time.
Yeah. All tops, all the time. Tops on top.
Bring back 2008.
Yeah.
Think about it, that's really one of the last times that both programs were excellent. Isn't that sad?
Except for football.
Well, yeah, but we're just talking men and women.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, but yeah. Except for football, then that was atrocious. Yeah, that was the beginning of the downfall. Either way. So men's. I guess we're kind of going quick tonight, but men played middle. Let me get to my page here. There we go. The men played middle. Men won 93-89. Jared, did you watch that one?
Yes, I did get to see it.
Okay. What were your thoughts on this one?
Honestly, that was better. I mean, I was really worried because, I mean, it was a pretty neck and neck game, but then they absolutely ran away and had like a 16-point lead, I think, in the second half. And I was like, well, crap. But somehow, like, I mean, well, did I have it backwards? Hang on. I think we had the lead and then we choked and then they took the lead over. Yeah, there we go.
That is correct. That's what
happened. I had it backwards in the brain for some reason. Yeah, so I mean, we had the 16-point lead and choked it, and I thought we were going to completely lose, but thankfully we were able to seal the deal. Free throw wise, we were incredible. Like, I think we only missed one free throw. We shot like over 20 of them for the game, so that was an absolutely massive difference. McKnight, he went off, had over 30 points, I think. And
missed two.
Yeah, only missed two. That's not bad.
29.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah. No kidding. And those are gimme points. And I mean, it doesn't honestly look like Western fouled all that much either.
Yeah. So I mean, that's how we
middle only got 14. So
yeah, I mean, we're always really good about getting to the line, and thankfully we did that game, and also not just get to the line, but make our shots there. So that was pretty big. So it was good to finally get back in the win column and get some middle and men's basketball. I feel like we've struggled against them in recent years, which sucks. But, I mean, we almost choked, but we didn't. I was still really worried. We still didn't play that full 40 minutes of basketball like I want us to. Hopefully we will at some point between now and March. So, who knows?
Honestly, I'm kind of like you, Jared. But you know what? I'm kind of surprised to see that Dante Allen wasn't the leading scorer, you know?
Well, I mean, McKnight is still the cornerstone of this team. He's the guy, and everything pretty much goes through him. I mean, Allen's been good stepping up in the replacement of Frampton, and I feel like he fits the system better than Frampton does too. I mean, Frampton was either hot or cold, and he was never really consistent. I feel like Allen's been a lot more consistent than Frampton has, so I'm just kind of glad to see someone step up besides McKnight.
Oh, I'm good with it. Don't say I'm not knocking him at all. I was just, some of us on the show think that Dante Allen is amazing and changed the Twitter of the podcast name to Dante Allen Podcast, and
Dante Allen.
and hides in the bushes at Dante Allen's apartment, stuff like that. So,
Your name starts with D.
so Matt, what did you think? Western versus
First
Middle.
of all, Dante Allen. That's it.
Matt is turning into the boomers that like Jake Omer, but it's Dante Allen.
Go Cats. No,
Dante Allen.
I watch UK every game, and I thought he should have played then. And I barely watch Western, but I love that Dante Allen fella. No, but honestly, it was nice to see us pretty much dominate that game. What's frustrating is, and I still haven't got the chance to really look up like how many times we've either melted down a 10-point lead or started down 10 and then ended up coming back. But it's got to be like 15 games that we have swung at least 20 points in the other direction in terms of like the score of the game. And it's just, like I'm thrilled and I'm happy, and we won 3 in a row and we're right back in the middle of the race. But my God, can we have one normal game of basketball?
No.
I do agree with you. Just looking at like the game flow chart here, just watching it, I didn't really think about it, but we led all the way up until 3 minutes to go in the second half.
Yeah, till like 30, and it was only like 30 seconds that they had the lead.
Yeah,
we immediately took it back.
Yeah,
but so we really did dominate that game. But once again, we allowed a team that we like. When you're up 16, you are in complete control of whether you win or lose that game, regardless of what happens in the game. You have control. That, even if circumstance happens, you're going to do something to screw that up to give them a chance. And we did that. We kind of slowed down and quit being aggressive. And like, I don't know if we necessarily fell asleep, but we definitely took our foot off the gas. And
kind of coasted.
I went back and watched it, and it wasn't like completely our fault on everything, but we definitely, the intensity kind of
waned
off. Yeah, and we started dribbling the ball around and doing nothing, and then you chuck up a shot, and then they go down and make a 3, or they press and they force a turnover and lay it in, stuff like that. So we did a few things to kind of screw ourselves, and then they got back in it quickly, took the lead for a second, and then credit to us. You know what? We took right back control. We went to ACOB. We went to Davion. Dante contributed. And
Jake Omer, sorry.
Yeah, we ended up getting it done. And so I was proud of them, and the heart was awesome, but we've definitely still got to show, hey, you get a 16-point lead, you stomp on them, win by 25, and just show me that you can do that, because right now I'm like, I had guests to the game, and I was like, just wait, we'll get down. We may not give up the lead. By God, we did. But I was like, this game will be within 10 points at some point. And the guy's like, really? And I'm like, yeah. It's going to happen. Just watch it. And it happened, and we ended up giving up the lead entirely. And then, fought back and took care of business. But that's the one thing I'd like to see, is just show me, like Jared said, show me that you're not going to melt down at some point in the game and hand them an opportunity, because you can't do that. If you hand somebody a lead, they may not give it back.
Yeah, and you can't do that with a good team.
You're not in control anymore. They're in control of who wins the game, not you. So don't give up the control.
I agree with everything you're saying. With a good team like that, you can't do that. Because if you're neck and neck with a team going into like the last 5 minutes of the game, you've got to stick with them. You can't coast. And I think that's been our downfall with some of these closer games, or games that we've let people back into it. It's kind of a maturity thing. I don't know. The guys won, so we're on that side of things now. So that's a positive for us. And it looks like, let me pull up the schedule. Western is going to be playing We got Charlotte on the 16th, and then we've got Rice, and then next week La Tech UAB. So it kind of flipped ladies.
We haven't lost a game in February yet, so that's a cool random fact.
Yeah. Well, let me ask y'all this, because I know we've kind of gone quickly through. Like, do you think it changes your perspective on how we look at this team yet, or is it still like,
is Rick Stansberry still our head coach?
Yeah, I was gonna say, does it change your view of what you think of Rick?
Well, I wasn't going for that. I mean, I think we all probably stand where we were there, but
I still don't see us winning the conference tournament if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, I don't either.
I do want to say, I told y'all though that we only needed to get a couple games under our belt, and we're right back in the race. Now it's literally just win the individual games, and we're right there.
Yeah.
All this other crap be damned. We're right there. By the end of the weekend, we could be in. I think it's possible we could be in like fourth, maybe even possibly tied for third, despite all this stuff. So, I mean, everything would have to go right, but we definitely will climb in the standings if we just take care of these couple, and we'll be right on the edge of a bye despite all this other stuff that's going on.
So you're gonna need FIU, Rice, or Middle to lose again.
Middle plays FAU.
Okay, so
Rice plays Western.
So as long as we step up and do what we're supposed to do, then Western will pull ahead and Middle. Who does Rice have?
Rice has us, and they have they play UTSA. So that's unlikely.
So that's a cake game. Like
at home too. They're probably not losing that.
Yeah, that's probably a pretty easy game for them.
But if we play Rice and beat them, and we beat Charlotte, we'll be tied with Rice at least by the end of the week. FIU and Middle play each other, so one of them is going to have 8 losses or more. La Tech plays North Texas. They're ahead of us too, and they play Charlotte, who, is no slouch. They've been not very good in conference, but there's a lot of opportunity there. If we just take care of our business, which that's tough to do because, like I said, Charlotte's good, and Rice gives us headaches because their center is kind of a do-it-all he's really a genius with the ball. But those kinds of teams give us trouble. And Charlotte does the same thing with their center. So it's tough to say that we're going to win these two, but if we did, which I think we should win them. But if we don't, that's a different story. If we do, I think we'll be in 5th probably.
I was going to say, is that like the best case scenario is 5th?
No. We're within 2 games. So let me look at this. If UAB, who does UAB play this week? UAB plays UTEP, and then I'm guessing UTSA. Yeah. So if UAB were to lose 2, we theoretically could catch them. That's a tall task. But Middle is a game and a half ahead of us. But they play FAU and FIU, who are both pretty decent. So we can potentially catch all the way up to 4th, I think, pretty easily.
So FIU's actually a game behind Middle as well.
Mm-hmm.
But if FIU beats Middle and we beat, and obviously we've already beat Middle, so that would put us Middle would fall below both of us then. So do we have the tiebreaker on FIU or no?
It's going to depend on who they've beaten because we split with them.
Okay.
I think, didn't we beat them once and they beat us once?
Yeah, because we lost on the road. I think we beat them at home, though.
Mm-hmm. We won by...
We beat FIU on the first game, and we lost to them the second game, so yeah.
Mm-hmm. So your tiebreaker, just so y'all know, I don't know if you knew the tiebreaker or whatever, or if people at home don't know, your tiebreaker is obviously head-to-head, but then also the next one is your record from against first place to second place to third place to fourth until there's a difference. So if somebody's beaten FAU, so who beat FAU?
Is anybody?
They have one loss. They lost to somebody. Who did they lose to?
Was it UAB?
Did they lose to UAB?
No, they lost to somebody. Who was it?
It was UAB. Good call, Jared.
Yeah.
86-77.
Yeah. So they lost to UAB. So whatever. So you go down the standings until you find a difference against the top teams of the league. So if somebody beat North Texas, if somebody beat UAB, if somebody beat Middle, whatever, all the way down, and then there should be a difference somewhere in the standings. So that's your tiebreaker. So it's really complicated to follow right now because you've got 3rd through 10th are all within 3 games of each other. So who the crap knows where anybody's going to be at the end of the season just yet. So it's interesting. And but I think that, yeah, I mean, we could climb all the way to 4th by the end of this week. And it's realistic if we win our games.
I swear to Jesus, if we win the tournament and one of our guys gets up there and he starts talking about, hey, nobody believed in us, it came out this year, nobody believed in us, I'm going to go throat punch him, and I will jump up on a stool and throat punch him. I'm not short, but I'm probably shorter than them. But anyway. Okay, so we could get 4th. That'd be a nice seating in the Conference USA tournament. It'd give us a good side of the curtain anyway. So that curtain is so janky. I'm sorry. Anyway,
I honestly like it. Whatever. It reminds me of
rec league basketball.
Well, maybe, but no. It reminds me of the Sun Belt tournament too. They had they had games in it was like an auditorium or whatever. They had the makeshift bleachers and whatever. I thought it was fun in there.
It's nostalgic for you, is what you're saying.
I don't know. Maybe I don't mind it. I don't mind it. I think it's different, and I think it's exciting. Like, people can complain about, oh, this is jank or this is stupid or whatever, but I mean, it's conference tournament basketball. Like, I just don't see an ugly part of it. I thought it was awesome when I was there, and I think everybody should go at least once and then tell me that it was terrible at that point.
I think everybody should at least go, and then they can actually talk about the games. So, because if you don't go, you can't talk about it. So
that's not where I was going, but that is 100% true. If you have not been to every game this year, you are basically in borderline purgatory. Or it may be hell.
Right.
Okay,
yes.
You might just be straight up burning in the flames at this point.
So is Hilltopper hell Murfreesboro?
Yes.
I think so too. I think it is.
Yeah.
I think it is. Yes, completely. But yeah, I mean,
Nathan Bedford Forrest great grandson's trailer on fire.
Jesus, Nathan. Oh my God. Anyway,
got a statue of him on there.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Do they still have one?
Probably.
I believe so.
Yeah, I figured it had been tore down by now. But anyway, so okay, Western's going to be playing Charlotte on the 16th. This is men's. Just heads up. That game will be on ESPN Plus if you're not able to make it to Charlotte, North Carolina, because just anybody could just drop their schedule, life, kids, or whatever, and just go watch a basketball game. And then on the 18th, ESPN Plus. That game's at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. That's in Houston, Texas. So, again, if you can't make that one, check that out to support the guys. They'll appreciate it. Do
we want to do some predictions or something? I don't know where you're going with it, Devin.
Well, that's what I'm going to next.
Okay. Is Charlotte
has got a 75% chance, according to ESPN's interns, to beat us.
Yeah, I saw that.
Is that crazy?
I think it's based on their early part of the year.
Okay.
Because they were, like, if you look at their overall record, they still have 10-plus wins. I think they have the same record we do.
Okay.
4-9 in conference, or whatever. 5-9. Excuse me.
They do have the same overall. They're 14-11, and we are 6-8, and they're 5-9 in conference.
Yeah. So they played really well and played way tougher of a schedule than we did.
Okay.
So they looked like a contender, and then all of a sudden they get in the conference and they are in second to last.
Now, is this the coach that you thought was attractive? Is this the one?
No, that's
That's
FIU.
Dusty May.
Oh, sorry. Okay, sorry. I got him confused. Anyway, um, so okay, let's do predictions. I'll go to Jared. What are your thoughts on Western versus FIU? Or God, Charlotte. Now I'm thinking of him.
All I see is stars if we're talking about FIU.
Charlotte. I feel like this will
Sorry,
be a
Jared.
close
Go ahead,
game.
man.
I'm not entirely sure how this one will go. I mean, it's on the road. I mean, that always makes it a little tougher. But I mean, obviously, I think we've caught momentum at the right time. I think that we're very capable of winning this game. I think we need to win this game, but I still don't see us playing the full 40 minutes. I just want everybody to stay healthy and just to hopefully get a win. I feel like we'll win. I'll say we'll win. Yeah, I will definitely say we will beat Charlotte just because we have caught a lot of fire, a lot of momentum here. I just hope we don't fizzle out by the time we get to the conference tournament. That's my biggest fear is we spend all this energy coming back and maybe getting close to 500 in conference or something, and we get to March and we just have nothing left. I hope that doesn't happen, but I mean, we still need to win each game. I think that we're very capable of winning this one, and I think we will. So
I can respect that. Honestly, I'll say my prediction for Western is we will play 88% of the game full tilt, and then we'll coast for like 30-second periods, and then we'll end up winning by like 3 points.
probably.
Matt, what's your prediction?
Basically that. No. Two things that I would say are really important, or two people that were really important. One is
Your mom.
your mom did not play in the game. Jamarian Sharp did not play at all in that game. He had some kind of hip issue, whatever, ponitis, I don't know, whatever. Anyway, whatever. He tore his upper.
Okay, we're good with that.
Anyway,
We're good.
all right, so anyway, he didn't play, so that's a huge factor. You got a guy that's 7'5" didn't play. Falou started, but only played 5 minutes for some godforsaken reason. So that was interesting. You didn't play any of your height the whole game against a team with a big center. So whatever, go fathom that. And ACOT didn't play well either. I think what they'll do is they'll probably try to match up. I wish they would press against Charlotte because Charlotte likes to slow it down and whatever. They got this kind of out of shape center that if you make him run, I think he would struggle. But we probably won't do that. So I think what they'll do is they'll try to post up ACOT. I think Sharp will make a big difference in the middle. Hopefully he doesn't get in foul trouble. If he gets in foul trouble, I think we'd be in some trouble.
Yeah.
I think they figured out to play some size that has some athleticism, and I think we should beat them. Will we? You know, we seem to have trouble with centers that can pass, and we're playing two teams this week with centers that can pass.
Yeah.
So I predict that we'll win, but I feel like we're going to drop one of these two. I don't know which one. I'll say we'll beat Charlotte.
Yeah. Okay. I can respect that. And then, of course, Rice actually has the lower percentage on the 18th, according to ESPN's intern, 63.5% to Western's 36.5%. Rice does have a better overall record than we do. They're sitting at 16-9, and they're 7-7 overall in conference. This game is in Houston, Texas, so if you're not able to go because you're not buku rich, you can catch it on ESPN Plus. Jared, I'll go to you first. What are your thoughts on the Rice game?
Rice, that's another kind of toss-up game. I feel like it was an interesting matchup the first time. I feel like we still have that momentum. It just really depends. If we overexert ourselves against Charlotte, it might cost us against Rice. I hope not. But I kind of feel like Matt. I feel like we'll drop one of these games just because it's Western. So
It's Western this year.
yeah, well, I
Completely
mean,
agree.
yeah,
Well, it's Western under Rick Stansbury.
but I think it'll be close. I don't know. I'm sure we'll lay an egg at some point, and I think it'll be against Rice. So
I can agree with that. I think I will say I would like to see Western get both of these, just so we can pull up ahead. But if I had to bet on one of us dropping one of these, I would say it would be Rice.
yeah,
And honestly, I'm going to tell you this right now. My prediction will be that Western will lead most of this game and will drop it in the last 5 minutes.
I'll say the opposite. I say we won't show up in the first 5 minutes of the game and dig ourselves a hole we can't get out of.
Okay. It's going to be really hard for me to write these predictions later on when I'm doing the graphics. But I do agree. I do think that Western. I hate to be unpatriotic like this, but I do think Western will drop it. So, Matt, what are your thoughts?
Now I think I should switch my prediction that we'll lose to Charlotte and beat Rice.
There you go.
But just to be different. But I mean, here's what I see in this one is Max Fiedler is the center that I was talking about. For whatever reason, he carves us up. He had 15 and 10. I think he has the most assists on their team, and he's the center. He's just a really good, smart player, and we struggle using our brains sometimes. It's not a good matchup. They have the ability that they can score. They don't really play great defense. So I think obviously a key would be if we can find a way to slow them down. That was why we were up 10 at halftime against them, because our defense was excellent. We just totally got out of what we did in the second half, and they scored like 55. They needed that 55. They only won by 3. They scored 55 points. We only got, quote unquote, only got 42. If we could just find a way to keep some of their guys at bay, I think Rice is another matchup that we should usually win because we can play defense and we can score if we have to. And I think we have size on them and definitely athleticism. So it kind of baffles me that we continue to struggle against Rice. But I think it's because they have a really good system. They have a coach that really knows what he's doing. And the guy does a pretty good job. And he's got enough players to be able to compete with us. They've got guys that can shoot. And they had their guys. We held their guys at bay in the first half, and then they just went crazy in the second half, and that was the difference. So I hope we can learn from last time, play the full 40 minutes, and I think if we did play a full 40 minutes, we'd beat them by 15 or 20 points. I still feel like we're going to – I think we're going to drop one of these two, and since I already said we'll beat Charlotte, I'll say we'll lose to Rice in typical kind of Western fashion this year. Like, get you excited, get you going. Like, okay, I believe I'm in again.
You do it! Yeah.
And then just pee down our leg. So I can't pick 2 wins. I wish I could. I don't think I can.
It's really sad, Jared, when Matt can't do 2 wins. Because usually he's the raw guy, and he makes us all feel bad because we're not picking Western. But
being undefeated in February doesn't mean anything if we can't win in March. That's all I'm saying.
Amen.
That's true.
That's like the 3-point record.
These are 2 teams that we should beat. Honestly,
yes.
Charlotte's not playing well right now. Rice it should be a good matchup for us. They can't play defense. We should be able to go all over them. We should be able to outsize them. But for whatever reason, we have trouble with them. So we'll see.
Okay, Matt, since you're talking that way, what we'll just hypothetically say, what percentage do you think it's possible that Western would win both games?
Win both?
Win both games. Okay. Not just one, both games.
Okay. I think it's okay. I think it's likely we beat Charlotte. It's like more than 50-50. And then I think it's more unlikely. I mean, I'd say what's 0.6 times 0.4?
0.24.
Yeah, I'd say about 25%. I mean, maybe 20.
Okay.
Just looking at percentages. If you say
Okay.
60% to beat Charlotte and 40 to beat Rice,
Okay. That's not too bad. I mean,
25%.
so basically, what you're saying is, out of 20 games, you think that if Western played both teams 10 times, so 20 games, you think that about 5 of those Western would win both games. Is basically what you're saying, ish.
Yeah, I think.
I think.
Yeah, I think
so
Western would sweep about a quarter of the time. Yeah.
I think that's a possibility too. I think.
If you think of it in NBA terms, it's easier. Like game 7, like a 7-game series. I think against Charlotte, we would win 4 out of 7. If we played Rice, I feel like we'd win 3 out of 7.
Okay. So the possibility of winning all 7 would be very low, is what you're saying. All 14 games would be really low. So, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I can get behind that.
Here's what frustrates me though. Like, sorry, Devin.
No, you're good. I was just thinking, any other year, I would be like, okay, this team should do well. This team should do this. And I would really feel bad about saying I just don't think they can do it. But I think it's more of a maturity thing at this point than it is an actual talent, because they've shown us that they can do these things.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Most times they look like a legit Sweet 16 team, like this team's going.
yeah.
And then you turn around and they look like, yeah,
They're choking. Yep.
Louisville. They look like they're Louisville.
Don't even remind me. Is Louisville doing anything this year? Let me see. I got to look up
like
their schedule.
25 or something. They have 3 wins. They have 1 conference win. They beat Georgia Tech or something.
They are
one of
awful.
the wins.
Oh my Jesus. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I got to check this one. Yeah.
The Charlotte game, what frustrates me is they should have won that one. I think that was the game Luke got hurt and Jamarian was out. So it was like a huge emotional, those are your 2 emotion guys, really,
Yeah.
I think. And so there was no emotion, but we still were sitting there with a chance to beat Charlotte, and they just didn't. They didn't have any juice at all. There was nothing there. And
No juice.
Juice.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we'll see. I think we should have the upper hand, but I mean, chances that you win 5 in a row in conference are small anyway. So we'll see.
Well, especially with this team.
Yeah.
So let's flip to the women's side. Now, ESPN and their network and such want to preach about equality. However, I have no percentage of possibility of winning here. This is not equal, okay? As a father of a daughter, I do not appreciate this. Anyway, so Western has got Charlotte on the 16th, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 6:30 Central. That game is on ESPN Plus, but it is in Bowling Green. So there's no excuse. Get your ass down to Diddle and go watch the game.
That's right.
Percentage chance Western beats Charlotte. Matt, I'll let you take it because Jared and I don't watch women's sports.
Oh, man. I mean, it ought to be like 85%. I watched that other game, and Charlotte is very well coached, so keep that in mind. Their coach is really, really good at her job. She just doesn't have the experience and I think the talent this year quite.
Okay.
So I think they're just a decent team because of her.
Yeah.
Western did everything they could to lose that game and still almost won. I'm serious. I mean, it was like, go look at the stats. Charlotte shot like 50-something%. Western shot like 20-something. And they lost by...
That's hilarious.
By 7.
Yeah, I'd have to check.
They pulled away Charlotte pulled away at the end. I mean, it was a terrible basketball game. And Western, really all they had to do was shoot upper 20s and they probably would have won. And they couldn't hit anything. So I think we ought to beat Charlotte by like 85% chance at least.
Okay.
Especially at home.
Okay. Western is going to be playing Rice on the 18th at 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central. That's on ESPN 3. Matt, What is your take on this game?
Rice is playing really well right now. So it's definitely scary. It is at home, thank God. And we beat them. This was the first game of conference play, and we beat them when they were supposed to. They were still like the conference favorites at that point. Well, they're not now,
Yeah.
but they've fallen off a little bit. But they've really gotten hot lately.
Okay.
And so I think they have awoken, and they're probably. I mean, I give Rice at least a 40% chance to win. I think it's kind of a coin flip, and I'm going to say the Lady Tops win because I think we're really playing with a good system, forcing a lot of turnovers, getting up a lot of shots. We're much better at not fouling now. Like early in the year, it was really bad.
Okay.
We were turning the ball over ourselves. I think we'll find a way to win, but I think it's going to be really close. And you definitely need to go down and support the Lady Tops against Rice because it's going to be a tough game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, both games. But yes, I completely agree. Go support the Lady Tops either way.
Percentage chance, I'd say like 55% against Rice.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's really, I think it's really close against them.
Well, I was going to say overall record for Rice, they're 17-6.
Mm-hmm.
But Western's overall or conference overall record is 10-4, so we've got them there. And we're two games ahead of Rice. So, hopefully Western can pull out the win here and continue doing well.
We're sitting pretty if we win these two. So
that's good. That's
we'll
good.
be right in the thick of fighting for a bye.
Okay. So check back next week. We will be updating on baseball, basketball, and Lady Tops basketball as well. Luckily, we do not have to listen to the Kels brothers anymore until next year. They will go back into their dens, and we will wait to see if they see their shadow. But anyway, guys, appreciate you all listening this far. If you'd like to support us, like, share, and subscribe to the episode. If you're listening on YouTube, do the same. And on our podcast, make sure to listen and support us there as well. It helps us. So if you can like, you can subscribe, and if you share, it helps us out as well. So check back next week, same time, same place, and we will be talking to you all later. And as always, guys, go Tops.
Go Tops.
What? Thanks for listening, guys. Appreciate you all.